This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members only pay a $25 copay or less. No insurance, no problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to my podcast, Mindful Drinking for Women, which is about exactly what it sounds like. I help women get unobsessed with drinking alcohol by getting really honest with themselves about why they are over drinking in the first place and how to replace harmful drinking habits with empowered mindfulness, which includes the ability to drink less or to choose not drinking at all. Hi, my name is Jessica Betancourt. I'm a certified life coach and hypnotherapist specializing in addiction transformation. And in today's episode, I want to share with you an idea that radically changed the way that I behave around alcohol. And that is developing the ability to let go of who you used to be or who you thought you were. And why does that matter? Well, a huge component of your identity is your habits, the seemingly little insignificant things that you do every day. And if you have a drinking habit that has taken a turn and you're discovering now that you may be someone who drinks too much, or you have shame or anxiety associated with the way that you are drinking, you are probably thinking of yourself in terms of who you used to be. So let me explain a little further. Think back to when your drinking habit really started. Were you in your 20s or your teens even? And now think about who you actually were back in those days. Were you a responsible adult with a mortgage and a partner and kids and a career? Probably not. You were probably likely doing what most of us were doing and just trying to survive and figure it out and decide what you wanted to do with your life and suffering emotional traumas or other traumas and heartbreaks and disappointments and trying to meet people at the same time and to socialize and have fun. And culturally, at least in the Western part of the world, that era of life very commonly involves copious amounts of alcohol. So as a young person, while you're still forming your identity and figuring out how to attain fulfillment in the various areas of your life, alcohol and drinking just automatically became woven into the fabric of who you perceived yourself to be. Someone who drank for social connectedness, decompressing or unwinding after school or work, parties, dates, sex, weekends, sports gatherings, and just dozens of other things. And if you worked in certain industries like hospitality, for example, it was just embedded even further. Without a lot of other options, when we're young, we don't always have the tools or the resources, the support, the community, the living situation, etc., to help us soothe or comfort or entertain or interest us. A lot of us, I know I did, I just felt like a satellite, like lost a lot of the time, not knowing, wanting so much, not knowing how to achieve things, not even really having stable living situations at times. So like now we say, if you want self-care, go take a bath. Well, at one time, I didn't even have a proper bathroom. I couldn't take a bath. And in your youth, I could take a shower. I still bathed, but to take a relaxing bath or to have privacy or to have a sanctuary within your home, that's just not always available for younger people for certain reasons, economic or otherwise. Yeah? So alcohol is everywhere acceptable to drink at almost any time of day for any reason in any place. It is just in your face. So if you didn't grow up surrounded by a drinking culture, you are an anomaly and I am jealous. And I hope that as I see more and more people opening their eyes and their hearts to the desire to drink less or rarely or not at all, I get really excited about what kind of a world that will create for our future generations. But any hooter, if you as a younger person became enmeshed with drinking for all of the reasons under the sun, then guess what? That doesn't necessarily just change because you are physically and chronologically older. So the problems start to arise when that young teen, that 20-something, you, when you grow into an adult and you create an adult world, but you bring your adolescent habits with you. Therein the problem lies. And another thing is concurrently happening here, and that is that when your brain is exposed consistently to alcohol, it impairs your cognitive ability to learn, to make new synaptic connections or new habits. So you are fundamentally retaining old habits instead of creating new ones. One of those habits being drinking for XYZ. You fill in the blank. So your habits, your abilities, your likes, your dislikes, your beliefs, your desires, and your goals are all part of your self-image, which is entirely created by you. And your self-image constructs your unique identity as a person. So if you have a drinking habit that you would like to change, it would be so helpful for you to examine the way in which you view yourself. And as you begin doing that, notice which traits and which beliefs and which habits really belong to a younger, less informed, probably more traumatized, not as well resourced version of you. Because look at you now, look at yourself now. In real time, in life, as you find yourself today, do you have the same circumstances that you did when you were a young adult or a teenager? Are you living with parents you can't stand or have issues with? Are you broke outside 7-Eleven trying to shoulder tap and get a 40? Are you living with like 20 roommates in a frat house and it's just constantly a party? Do you eat sandwiches and pizza 3 times a day? Did you get fired from the movie theater for being stoned at work? Like, no. It's a really different world that you're living in. And yet this habit has come with you. And in some way, you are still identifying as the person that you once were. So I'll use myself as an example. I really strongly identified as like a punk and a rebel type of person. I was a very wild child. I also described myself that way. I behaved that way, I acted that way, and drinking and doing drugs and smoking cigarettes like fit very well with that image that I had of myself. I was also an artist and like really bonded myself and strongly associated with this poor artist mentality and drinking in unsavory places all the time. Like that was part of who I was. I really saw myself that way. It fit with my vision of me. Is that who I am anymore? No. I'm a mom and a therapist, and I have changed immensely in the last 20 years, as have you. And when I got really clear that my drinking habit did not fit my current lifestyle, it belonged to a younger part of me. It was so much easier for me to release the habit when I just stopped identifying as a person who needed to or even wanted to drink the amount of alcohol that I was drinking, which was every day a lot. So how does this resonate with you? You're an adult. You're an adult now, I'll assume. And I will just say it because I said it to myself. If you're getting drunk all the time, you're not really embodying being an adult yet. You might physically be an adult, but mentally and emotionally, you have got one foot in the past. And you likely feel that at some level as discomfort and anxiety and something that needs to change. And the good news is that it totally can, and it will if you want it to, and if you get in there and do the work. Do the work. And the work really is, people say that and then other people get afraid or scared off, but doing the work is really just sitting with yourself and like being honest about your life and being willing to be a little bit vulnerable and a little bit scared, but do it anyway, which is envisioning yourself without drinking all the time or using it for all the reasons that you're using it for. And to also think of it in terms of not what you're losing, but what you gain. And what you gain is your mind back, and you gain your time back, and you gain your vitality back, and you have the wherewithal to be really present in your relationships, present with your kids, present with your partner. You become magically better at work, better at the things that you do that you're interested in, because your mind can function in the way that it's designed to function, and not being impaired by drinking. Drinking, I don't want to be a poo-pooer, but it definitely dumbs us down, and it slows us down, and it makes us incapable of our full capacity to live fully. And I really don't want to turn into a preacher or anything like that. I mean, I still drink on the occasion, but it does, and that's the truth. And the more we can really get clear and honest about that, just like we did, a few decades ago with smoking. Smoking is slowly killing us, and I hate to say it, but alcohol is too. So even being willing to and taking the steps to bring the volume of alcohol down will serve you so greatly. It really, really, really will. You don't need to be afraid. Lots of us are doing it, and it's really, it's quite exciting, actually. So my invitation to you is to upgrade your sense of self. Think of your drinking habit as belonging to a younger version of you who did what she could with the resources that she had available at the time. Release being that person anymore. Release identifying as someone who used to do the things that you used to do. You probably don't do a lot of things that you used to do, so why can't drinking be one of those? Visualize, or drinking to excess, or drinking at all. Visualize yourself becoming a wiser, accepting adult who can release the folly of youth with some grace and compassion. You have more information now. You have better support systems, better communication skills, a more highly developed brain. You can create yourself. Begin just by thinking of yourself as someone who used to drink a lot. And now you're learning other tools and habits to get your needs met and to solve your problems. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for working on improving your life. And as always, be nice to yourself. It doesn't help to beat you up. Be kind to yourself. Be your own friend. Be your own cheerleader. And if you'd like to have an immersive experience where I take you by the hand and I teach you how to transform your drinking habit in as little as 6 weeks, please book a complimentary call with me. You can find that link in the show notes. It's called Alcohol Awareness Breakthrough Conversation. And I'd love to hear your story, where you currently find yourself with the drinking habit, what you'd rather be experiencing instead. And together we can see if my 6-week program, Unobsessed, Reclaim Your Health and Power Over Alcohol, is a good fit for you. The next round starts Tuesday, March 7th. Have a beautiful day, and remember, you are not who you used to be, and that is called evolving.